Each businessman expects a problem or two in the previous days of start their industry, but few wait to be on the reception end of threats or the hooliganism. But 2 years following Rune Sovndal and Anton Skurlatov begun Fabulous services in the UK in 2009, the used tires on 10 of the business's stigmatized vehicles were crossed above a couple-month time. Mr. Sovndal suspects a rival was over it. We'd already been reception unpleasant Facebook messages proverb they will do yours website go downward, later that happened at the identical period, says Mr. Sovndal. I believe they implemented we abruptly had more than cars on the road rather than they did and they got envious, says the chatty Danish. We had on 100 cars on the gateway and they saw us upcoming of anywhere. Time the risk quickly disappeared, the 43-year-old says he took off a class of it. I believe as an businessman you include to find out if you go large, who will be envious. Now offer more than rather than 25 domestic services such as clean and horticulture. Fabulous services begun following the couple were entered at a side nearly 10 years back. Mr. Sovndal necessary a janitor and Mr. Skurlatov told he could assist as he was operating a boyfriend's clean industry. I looked at his website and I mind they could be large, says Mr. Sovndal. Not one had undertaken the production severely. A lot of competitive environment didn't appear organized, for sample, they didn't aware how to get map payments. It was love the savage western of services. Thirsty to defeat which they saw as a potential enormous marketplace, the duo every put £30,000 of saving in the industry and start up it a few months after. It was havoc, admits Mr. Sovndal, who was work as a team CO, searching motor optimization officer for while he set up the industry. First of all we got 2 lot cleaners who didn't aware which they were making, later we had 2 lot telephone call. Consumer demand was so top we had to continuously extend and outsourcing the Urge Center to Bulgaria, but later we purchased Urge Center and begun fleeing it ourselves. In comparison with lot of its competitive environment, Fabulous Services operates as a deductible pattern. Time everyone else was a market, we modified the pattern, says Mr. Sovndal. We include a quantity of franchisees in the plate and they're all vetted, verified, and learned personnel. We wish to supply the quality assurance. Fabulous, that is accessible in UK cities consisting London, Liverpool, and Oxford, has with advanced in some categories such as provided store and help in general household support jobs. The expenses of services differ of whatever of £12 for a janitor to more than rather than £150 for parasite monitoring. Yet, not all has lost to schedule. A go in babysitting was ditched 6 months in following Mr. Sovndal admits it didn't fit to. The London axle-based industry says it carries out an ordinary of 40,000 advantage services a monthly in the UK. Time full income for the largest latter 12 months was nearly £10 metre, profits were fair £44,000. Profits are low while you reinvestment in the business, says Mr. Sovndal. We include constructed a full CRM client relations control framework of Scrape, in 2 apps. The expenses cash. Always the trimmer, he says the business has in latter year startup in new markets such as Australia and the US, wherever it rest rug clean in Atlanta and Las Vegas. Yet, the industry has as well diminished its number of employees of 600 to 350 as more than customers' volume on the internet. Though extension has go at the charge of profits, Fabulous is now in negotiations in capacity investors. We wish to extend more than in the identical pattern and see at more than locations and facility extension, Mr. Sovndal says. Thomas Slideshow, Elder Retailer Analysis at Mintel, says the at-demand marketplace has undertaken off as more than consumer discover they include no one the period nor the capacity to do DIY themselves. Companies love Fabulous Services do it very lightweight to discover who else to do the job instead of time as well addition a standard of confidence by ensuring the job, he says. It is as well the outcome of improved in technique, as fabulous services and such business community use the web and smartphone apps to do it, facilitating rather than always to discover a person thing how can be an frightening problem for such who are not utilized to he. Yet, Mr. Slideshow warns of growing contest as the likes of Amazon and John Lewis include excited in the marketplace. Fabulous Services has obtained the benefit of Creature and Previous Engine in the area, but in several of the largest trust brands in the UK now hard to get in on the activity. Next increase may show more than stimulating. Up installation up Fabulous. Mr. Sovndal was a cook in one of Denmark's top restaurants, Lauses, before a mollusk allergic individual constrained him to abandon in 2002. The Danish, who lives in centre London in his woman and baby child, went on to start a line of companies consisting of Vogue Substance Industry, a telecoms company offer inexpensive telephone call, and devoted piece of music and dancing tutor websites, all-time work in administrative roles for the likes of BT and Last Minute. Though on feast Mr. Sovndal admits he is no nice at fair meeting on the bathing beach, I requirement to do thing. Newcomer Mexico 5 year back, he solved to find out to plunge. Later I got my outdoor water supply preliminary certification, later excited in cavern divers, departure more profound in the sea and vision several places really few human beings view. He's an unbelievable area, I go behind down there a lot to plunge. Always the businessman, he's as well led to a prudent industry concept, I loving it so lot I nested in the plunge store since all the cost were addition up. So I done a transactions in the proprietor. But for currently, in a big invest transactions on the skyline, he may include greater minnow to roast.